Marjabelle Stewart, world-renowned etiquette author and advisor, brings you Table Manners for Kids, Tots to Teens. Taught at the beautiful Biltmore Hotel in Los Angeles, to the United Nations school students at the Waldorf Astoria in New York, at the Ritz-Carlton in Chicago, the Four Seasons in Washington, and over 100 leading department stores across the country. Seen on The Phil Donahue Show, Today Show, The Vicki Lawrence Show, and The Home Show. And written about in leading national publications like People, Time, Newsweek, and Town & Country. This etiquette course is the same one taught by Mrs. Stewart to the children of presidents, ambassadors, and dignitaries from around the world. The Biltmore recently graduated the 1 millionth student in International Petite Protocol. Mrs. Stewart's is the oldest and most prestigious etiquette program for children in the world. We'll sit in on an actual class in Mrs. Stewart's gracious Victorian mansion and accompany our students, the tycoons of tomorrow, to their first formal dinner, much like the dinners they'll someday enjoy when they attend state dinners at the White House. The children have arrived. Let's listen in as Marjabelle Stewart, the Empress of Etiquette, introduces children just like you to the art of dining.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our table manners class. We will begin today by teaching you how to set the table. Are you ready? First, let's look at the tablecloth. Lovely white damask. It's been pressed so that there's one little crease right in the middle. Can you see it? It's tent-like. And underneath the tablecloth, the silencer. It helps make things just so quiet when you're dining. And then the next thing we place on the table is the service plate or the charger. And we place it 1 inch from the edge of the table. Then on top of the charger or the service plate is the dinner plate. And on top of the dinner plate is the napkin. And then on top of the napkin, the place card. Now, let's first look at the silver or the tools of the table. Your menu will consist of a shrimp cocktail, so to the right, and the only fork you'll ever see to the right is a seafood fork. And next in line, because that's the order in which we will be served, is the soup course. So we'll have the soup spoon. And the next is the fish course. So the fish fork on the left and the fish knife on the right. And the next in order is the entree or the meat course. And so the meat fork and the meat knife. And the last fork closest to the plate is the salad fork. Now, above the plate to the left is the bread and butter plate and the bread and butter knife. Above the plate, the pepper shaker and the salt cellar. Now, to the right are the goblets or the crystal. And above the dinner knife, right at the tip, we place the water goblet. And because you will not be using all of the goblets, let's move those off just for now, please. All but the champagne glass, which we will use for ginger ale and use for toasting during our wonderful luncheon. So now, there we are. Now, after we have had all of this wonderful seafood and soup and fish course and salad, this plate would be removed, and in front of me and in front of you at our luncheon would be placed a dessert plate with a finger bowl. And we would then remove them and lift up and be all ready for the dessert. Now, do you think you could help me set the table? Wonderful. And now let's set the table. Please, may I first have the service plate the dinner plate and the napkin. And look at that, she measured exactly 1 inch from the edge of the table. May I now please have the dinner knife? Perfect. And you even turned the blade in. And now may I have the fish knife? Perfect. And it too has the blade turned in. Now I need the soup spoon. Do you think you know where to place it? How did you know that? That's great. And the first course will be the shrimp cocktail, so the seafood fork goes right, and you rested it right in the bowl. That's perfect. Now may I please have the salad fork? Who has the salad fork? This one? You're right. That's exactly right. Right next to the plate, to the left. And now the meat course or the entree fork. Perfect. And then the fish fork. Why, that's exactly right. You see, we're going to work our way in. Now I need the salt cellar and the pepper shaker. I wonder if she'll get those right. You certainly did, and you even had, that's perfect. Now let's see, I need a water goblet. Right at the tip of the dinner knife, perfect. And the champagne glass for our ginger ale, absolutely correct. Now I need my bread and butter plate. You are marvelous. That's absolutely correct, and that too has the knife facing me. Now look at this. We're all ready to dine. I thank you. You're wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me now introduce you to the table manners. First of all, when you sit down, make sure that your posture is perfect, that your one hand edge away from the edge of the table makes for perfect leaning. And then the next thing, wait to see when the hostess picks up her napkin. Don't touch a thing until she does. First thing that you'll do is pick up the place card. And oh, look, you've made it out to grandmother. You can do that, you know, for your family gatherings, anniversaries, holidays. Say, Mother, may I make some place cards? Now you place that right above you. Then, with your left hand, pick up the napkin by the edge. It will unfold into your lap, and look how large the napkin is. You want to make sure that the crease, this is the crease right here, faces you. So place it like this, cross your lap. It's the best friend you'll have through the meal. Later, when you want to blot, you just take the little edges. Blot, blot. Never tuck it in your neck. Now, we're all set to begin, and now let me introduce you to the goblets. I'm going to remove 3 of them: the sherry, the white wine, and the red wine glass. For family dinners, I think we'll be content with our water goblet that's placed right at the edge of the knife, and the little champagne glass that's used for apple juice or ginger ale for toasting grandmother or mother later. The wonderful dinner. When you hold the goblet, hold it by the stem. Bring it up to your lips. Keep your ice down. Don't drink the whole glass at once. Gobble, 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 gobble. Don't do that. Just a little sip. And a nice thing to remember is before you sip, blot your lips. Then you won't get half greasy moons all over grandmother's lovely crystal. So you hold it by the stem, bring it to your lips, and sip. When you get ready for the toast, oh, this is such a wonderful gesture. Again, remember, blot, blot. At the end of the meal, you could clink the glass, clink, clink, and you could say, I would like to propose a toast. And you bring it up to eye level, and it's all in the swoop. And you say, to grandmother or to mother for a very wonderful dinner. You remember to do that. It's a lovely little gesture to learn. Now that's how to hold the goblets. Now what about all the tools of the table? Well, just remember you work from the outside in. Now, this is the only fork you'll ever see on your right. It's the little seafood fork. The next course will be the soup course. And there's something really interesting about soup spoons. First of all, this soup spoon would be used for an open plate soup bowl. And when you hold a soup spoon, you hold it like a little pencil. You see how it's resting? And then when you use the soup spoon, you dip across the top of the soup plate, dip away, lean forward, soup spoon to the lips, tilt the bowl, and inhale like a little angel. No slurping, no slurping. This is the soup bowl, which is oftentimes used at luncheons. But look how much smaller the soup spoon is. Isn't that interesting? Let's place it here in front of me so I can give you again the little lesson, holding it like a pencil. Across the top where the soup is cool, you don't blow on it, you don't stir it all up. You just dip away, lean forward, the soup comes to your lips, and you tilt the bowl. When you're finished, you rest it on the little plate. We're working our way in. You see how this works? Isn't this wonderful? Now we've come to the fish course. Let me show you the difference between the size of the fish knife and the meat course, the entree knife. The fish knife was designed to fit your hand down the power finger into the palm of the hand, and the fish fork, the same. In the palm of the hand, down the power finger. You know, every tool was designed by an artist to fit your hand, and it had a little book of instructions when it first came out, telling you just how to hold it. Now, curl the fingers around, turn your hand over, and bring the knife and the fork to your food. Keep your elbows close to your body. You don't want them flapping like little ducks. And posture is straight. You secure the food, stroke it, rotate the wrist. It's all in this wrist movement. Up to the lips. The mouth goes open, the lips go open. Keep the lips closed, and you'll never get puppy sounds. If the lips are open, you get those terrible smacks. Don't ever do that. Now you stroke, rotate, food to the lips. Lips are closed, and you chew. When you wish to rest, the knife and fork go across the plate like a V. And when you have finished, you bring the fork and the knife together at 4 o'clock. That's called closing your doors. Then the waiter will say, oh, they finished that course, and I can remove that plate. Now, never, ever leave your knife and fork hanging out like little oars in a boat. And never, after you've used them, put them back on the table. Now, we've closed our doors, and the next course would be brought in. At this time, the charger plate and the fish plate would be removed, and a new plate would be placed in front of us, probably a nice warm plate. Now, here we are graduating down to the entree. But first of all, between the entree and the fish course, we might have sorbet. The sorbet is served to cleanse your palate. It makes your little palate go pop, 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 so you'll be able to taste the next course. So it's not a dessert. You pick up the little spoon, again with your right hand. You may hold the stem if you feel more secure, and take just a little tip and put it in your mouth. Let it rest on your tongue, and then proceed. You may eat all of it if you'd like. Then rest the spoon not in the sorbet glass, but on the plate. Now this will be removed, and we will now have our entree. Now I'll just place this right here for the moment. And now we've come to the meat course, or the entree. Knife and fork are held exactly the same way as the fish knife and fork. But now I'm going to introduce the American style as well as the continental style that we used with the fish course. We turn our hands over, we stroke the meat, and if we're eating continental, the fork is still held in the left hand, tines down. The meat is brought to our lips exactly like the fish course. Very nice. But if we want to eat American, or it's called zigzag, because we switch the fork from our left hand to our right hand. In that case, the meat knife goes across the top of the plate, blade facing in. And the fork is changed to the right hand, and it becomes a little shovel. Then you pick up the meat and the vegetables. And if you're going to rest, you may rest it in this position, just as it would come down. One other thing about eating continental and American style. You may cut one piece at a time, continental, because here you are, just cut, rotate, bring to the lips. But with the zigzag style, you may cut as many as 3 pieces before you place your knife down. However, don't cut up all the meat at once. It'll look like dog food. And in that case, 1 or 2, the knife goes down, and you may pick up then individually the pieces. Would you remember that? And again, when you have finished, you bring the knife and fork together, tines up or tines down at 4 o'clock. Now, can you remember that? You may eat either continental, which is cutting the meat, bringing it to your lips with the tines down, or you may eat American, switching it to your right hand, tines up. Both ways are correct. But if you're going to just start to learn, I suggest continental. You can dine anywhere in the world if you eat continental, which, by the way, was early American. It was later that we were zigged and zagged to slow down our granddaddies because they were going gobble, 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 gobble. So they said, well, we'll just put in 1 extra stroke and slow down those Americans. So both ways are correct. But again, practice, practice, practice if you're going to eat continental so that you're very comfortable with it. And now we're down to the salad course. This is the salad fork. And do you notice it has a little tip out of the tine? That will help you pick up the little slippery pieces. You hold it in your right hand, again, like a pencil. And now, before I use it, I would like to show you how to use your salt cellar. You pick up the little spoon. Let's say your salad needed a little salt. Tap, 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 tap. If you wish to use the pepper shaker, pick it up, and again, tap, tap. Now, if someone would ask you for the salt and pepper, you would pass them together just like a little couple. Always move them together. Now, with the salad, you will pick it up, bring it to your lips, keeping the fork in the right hand, and when you have finished, leave the fork on the plate again at 4 o'clock. Now, with the salad, we might like to try some of this lovely hard roll. You pick it up, you break it, break off a piece the size of an olive. Yes, an olive. And then pick up your bread and butter knife, pick up a little of the butter and butter that little piece. Place the knife back down and then bring it to your lips. You never want to bring the whole roll up and butter it like you're wallpapering and eat from the edge of your hand. Just remember, break off the size of an olive. And now we've come to the dessert course. Dessert may be served to you with a finger bowl. Yes, it'll be placed right in front of you. And in that case, you will remove the dessert spoon to your right, the dessert fork to your left, and then you will pick up the finger bowl with your right hand, picking it up with your fingers, like a little pincher, pick it up, and with the left hand, pick up the doily and place it right above the dessert fork. Now that will be used after you have had your dessert. Now, the dessert may be brought to you in a separate little plate, or you may have to serve yourself from a dessert tray. You may use the spoon and the fork since both have been served to you. And in that case, just use them. It's so nice. And oh, you may need this as a little pusher, and they're just wonderful. If you've only used one utensil, place them both on the plate at the end of the meal. And you turn the tines over, the spoon over, and that says, I have finished that course as well. Now the finger bowl, finger bowls have water, and they're to wash just the tips of your fingertips. You don't take a bath in them, and you just take the little fingers, tip, 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 blot on the napkin in your lap. Tip, tip, tip. And a nice little touch is tip, tip, to the sides. Then bring up your napkin. How marvelous. Now we've had all 5 courses, and we will be able now to put this all to use when we take you out for your formal luncheon. Now wait for the hostess before you place your napkin on the table. And always remember, the napkin goes to the left, just crumble, don't refold it. And when she places it there, that means the meal is over. So you do the same. If you leave the table during lunch, you would say, "Excuse me, please," and you would place the napkin on the seat of your chair. Will you remember that? I think we're ready.
Mrs. Stewart's young students arrive at the exclusive Davenport Club overlooking the banks of the Mississippi River, excited and assured as they look forward to a wonderful dining experience. They know their lessons in etiquette will allow them to dine anywhere with confidence and style. The young gentleman pulls out the chair for the lady on his right, using both hands for a smooth and secure move. The young lady moves in until she feels the front of her thighs touch the edge of the table. The gentleman pushes the chair in, just until it touches the backs of the young lady's thighs. When she feels the edge of the chair, she sits and with both hands grabs the seat of the chair and does a final tuck.
And now I will move into the table. Scotty will touch my legs, perfect. Down we go, and I tuck in one hand, and now Scotty will be seated. All right, thank you.
The children watch Mrs. Stewart. They know they must wait for the hostess to pick up her napkin before they can place their napkins in their laps. Eyes widen as the children watch the waiters bring them their beautiful shrimp cocktails. Notice that the waiters always serve from the left and remove from the right. Once Mrs. Stewart has picked up her seafood fork, the children are free to begin eating.
Let's see if you can pick up the shrimp, tip the little end into the sauce, and take a bite. Let me see you take a bite.
When finished, leave your seafood fork on your plate, not in the bowl. Start a conversation with the person next to you as you wait for the waiter to clear the table. The consommé Swan Lake is beautiful, but some of the children are wondering how to handle the floating swans.
Push the little swan close to the edge of the plate toward you with your soup spoon. Pick up a small amount, bring it up to your lips from the side sip. So you lean forward, bring the soup spoon to your lips, sip, and lean back. So it's dip away, lean forward, sip.
The rolls look delicious, and nearly everyone wants to try them. It's tempting to pick up that roll and take a bite, but our diners remember to break off a piece the size of an olive Butter only the bite-sized piece. Place the butter knife back on the bread and butter plate and place the bite of roll in their mouths. Even though the rolls are so good, you must never ask for more rolls or butter. Your meal is served in courses, and asking for anything additional other than water could throw off the service for everyone. As the fish course is being served, Mrs. Stewart demonstrates once more how to lay the fish knife and fish fork in the palm of your hand, down the power finger, then simply turn them over to stroke the fish and cut it into bite-sized pieces. Cut a small portion and keep the tines down at all times. You can use the knife as a little pusher if you need to. Then bring the bite to your lips.
Very good.
When you have finished, remember to close the doors, bringing knife and fork together at 4 o'clock. This signals that you have finished, and the waiter can easily pick up the plate and silver together. The children are having a wonderful time, enjoying the marvelous food and delightful company, but they remember to blot their lips before taking a drink of their water or ginger ale. The beautiful sorbet and citrus cup is not a dessert, but a palate cleanser to prepare our diners for the entree. And the flour on top?
The flour is edible. You may eat the flour. There are certain flours that are simply delicious.
Take a small portion of sorbet on your spoon and place it on your tongue. You can feel how the sorbet wakes up your taste buds and readies them for the next course. In proper order, dining becomes an art, designed to keep every course tasting its best. When you've finished with your sorbet, leave the spoon on the small plate holding the citrus cup. The entree is a perfectly prepared chicken breast and Oxford sauce.
Keep again the fork in the left hand down the index finger. We're going to turn our hands over and at the edge of the chicken, place the fork, and on the outside of the fork, stroke the chicken. Stroke, don't saw back and forth. Elbows close to the body. When you cut, you don't flap elbows.
If you can keep your fork in your left hand at all times, you are eating continental style, and that is accepted anywhere in the world. Mrs. Stewart encourages the diners to master the continental style of dining. It's much less awkward than American style, giving the diner an elegant and refined appearance throughout the meal. Notice the stroking method used to cut the chicken, rather than sawing. A very important part of being a good guest is to keep conversation going with the guests on either side of you. It's easy to find things to talk about with such a beautiful meal. The delicious food, the pleasant setting, and the beautiful flower arrangement. You may notice the flower arrangement is below eye level. A centerpiece should never be taller than this, or diners won't be able to see each other across the table. The salad can be the trickiest course to eat gracefully. If the bib lettuce is too large and you don't have a salad knife, pick a piece up, like you did with the shrimp, and eat a little bite off. You may also want to try cutting the lettuce with the side of your fork to get a bite-sized piece. Once again, the flowers on the salad are edible, though several of our diners chose to move the flour to the side of the plate. It's perfectly acceptable not to eat something you are served, though it's best to move it around on your plate to give the impression that you have eaten some. And of course, never tell the hostess or other guests if you don't care for something that's served. Just smile and keep conversation going so no one will notice you aren't eating. With the dessert course, a fork and spoon may both be served.
Pick up your spoon and your fork. Both have been served to you, so we'll use both. Now, hold on to the dessert till you can investigate the consistency. I see we have soft and we have a little crusty crepe there. These are the crepes that are wrapped around. Pick up the dessert with your spoon, dip into the sauce, and then taste. If you find, after you've used the utensils, that you wish to place your spoon down, place it at the top of the plate, switch your fork to the right hand and let it become a little shovel.
You might try proposing a toast after a special holiday meal.
Always stand up first And then say, let's all say it together. I would like to propose a toast. Pick up your glass, bring it to eye level, and let's say this time, to Mother.
To Mother.
For the beautiful dinner.
For the beautiful dinner.
And then you sip, and you might, with the glass, to each, here, 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 here.
It's a great feeling to watch your hostess beam with pride when you've shown such a special kind of gratitude. After a really special meal in a restaurant or club, the chef may come out to allow you to show your appreciation for the wonderful meal.
To Chef Tony!
Thank you very much, boys and girls. Now that Marjabelle has taught you the etiquette of fine dining, you'll never have to feel intimidated. You can always enjoy that special afterglow. Thank you, boys and girls. Thank you,
Thank you
Marjabelle.
again.
Our diners use their new knowledge to toast and applaud the chef for a dinner that truly was art.
When the finger bowl is served at the end of the meal and you've had your dessert, then you do not touch the bowl at all. You just use it right in front of you. The fingers go into the bowl, you touch the lemon, bring your fingers to your lap, and blot on the napkin. The left hand into the finger bowl, touch the lemon to freshen the fingertips, hand into the lap, and blot. Now with your index finger on the right hand, a little water on each side of the lip. Then pick up your napkin and blot. Then the hostess will look across the table at one or two of the women, which is her signal to them the dinner is complete. You crumble it and place it to the left.
Our diners leave the Davenport Club filled with pride and satisfaction that they've learned lessons on dining today that will serve them well throughout their entire lives, whether they eat in a special restaurant once a year or dine at the White House regularly.
Thank you for joining us for our Table Manners for Kids, Tots to Teen class. We really enjoyed demonstrating our table manners for you, didn't we?
Yes.
It was really a lot of fun. You know, I hope the next time you receive a nice invitation to dinner, maybe the night of the prom, or at an elegant restaurant, or a wonderful family dinner, that you will put this video on and use it as a refresher course. Beautiful table manners will take you anywhere. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see you the next time I dine at the White House. Emerson said, "Manners are the happy way of doing things." On that, we will leave you and say bye-bye. Bye-bye.